My name is Naiymah Sanchez. I use she, her pronouns. I am an advisor and a partner with Rosine 2.0. Honestly speaking, I think that this work, the work to liberate our community is something that I can't do alone, but also healing. Like I really rely on community members to heal, to like really expand my process of how I'm gonna heal because there's certain ways that I've grown accustomed to navigating traumas. And there's some things that I haven't identified as a way to cope with trauma and triggers as I do community work. So it's really this work and also healing. So it's very intersectional, right? Like I look at the queer liberation movement, we're 50 plus years in that movement. I look at civil rights, I look at voting rights, I just look at women's rights. Like I just look at all of these movement work that we've been, my ancestors, my elders, and now myself have been a part of, right? Because we haven't really been truly liberated as communities. So I look at all of the movements as it pertains to like the oppressive systems that especially communities of color, Black and brown folks, have been forced to exist in. It envisioned us not needing to do this, right? Where, and I speak so much about this, like, existing is fucking freaking tiresome, right? It's like, not only do we do this work, but we have to live through a society that continues to tell us that we're not worthy of existing, right? So, the fear of being physically harmed because I'm so vocal about trans rights or liberating sex workers or, criminal justice for reform, if, for instance. But it really, the future of the work that I envision is a future that doesn't need this work, is a future where we're actually existing and living in society where we feel welcomed, right? Where we don't have to worry about them increasing these acts of violence against us through legislative attempts, right? So it's really a future of liberation. Of course, there's like the cliche, like the Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, as like our mothers of the civil rights movement for queer folks, right? And then here in Philadelphia, I look at Jackie Adams and Charlene Arcilla as like my ancestors who really taught me how, or paved the way so that I could continue to fight. My grandma, right? My grandma, she was a wonderful woman who didn't even have education, but she was able to provide for her family, come from the South and do for our family, whereas though it created generational security, right? Because it gave us a culture of like support, right? It was it's like, so I know I'm tearing up because I think of it because there's not one elder or one ancestor that I want to credit it to, because everyone who came before me, everyone who are older than me, they've contributed something that I'm benefiting from. So, I mean, I think that whether you're cisgender or transgender, female or male, if you contribute to this work, I'm so grateful to you and to the folks that encourage you to be compassionate about the work that you're doing. The partnering relationship with community helps me do my work through the organization that I'm employed at, like the ACLU, but also, in society, just regular in community as a community member. The partner relationships are essential to executing anything, right? Any campaign goals, any work goals, or any personal goals that you may have, right? And as I share, like, what work that I can't do without community is merely exist in this work as a social justice warrior or as a trans community member. Like all of this is in partnership with other organizations and also community members. And particularly what we did in December in partnership with Rosine 2.0 and the ACLU was host a closed group conversation that was really intimate amongst those who live in Philadelphia and experience and had experience around sex work, right? And we definitely, again, went through many ideas of how we could execute a really good workshop, and the intentions to have something more intimate versus open gave us the opportunity to really discuss, what harm reduction looks like in our lives, what does stigma looks like as it pertains to sex work, and then also, how we're impacted by the criminalization of sex work. The partnership with Rosine 2.0, I feel like, contributed to like the archiving of this type of work, right? Because there has never been, and I'm gonna say that on record, there has really never been archivist that has specifically focused on the intersection of women, right? Cisgender and transgender women, right? And we've seen, especially in the last few years, that a lot of this work have become siloed, where folks like to pit cisgender women and transgender women against each other, right? So the partnership between ACLU, Rosine 2.0, my community partner, Madeline Morrison, was really to help bridge that gap that is only getting bigger through the narratives that, unfortunately, that our politicians are taking to pit us against each other, right?